What's going on, guys? Chanske here. Today in this video I actually have a bit of old news, and you guys actually might have already heard about this. So I want to give you guys the latest details about the last two upcoming future DLCs, which are scheduled to be released around summer 2014. It's kind of funny, we just seen the release of the Naval Strike DLC except for the PC, and yet we're already getting information for the upcoming DLCs after that. But anyways, a source on Reddit, which has been very reliable in the past, and I will leave a link in the description below, now has given us a full list of all the maps, and as well as the release dates for the Dragon's Teeth DLC and the Final Stand DLC. So apparently the source for all this information which he got was straight from an EA Confluence page, and as you guys may or may not know, the names of Battlefield 4 maps tends to leak every time. Even back when the game wasn't even released, the vanilla maps were actually leaked also. So there is pretty good reason to believe these map names could be the real deal. Starting off with the Dragon's Teeth DLC, we have ourselves 4 map names. They are Propaganda, Waterfront, Urban Garden, and Marketplace. Now, these names themselves don't really tell us very much about the maps. They're very broad and can pretty much be applied to all kinds of locations. And apparently this DLC is supposed to come out for premium members on May the 3rd and for regular players on May the 17th. Now, these two release dates are on a Saturday, which leads me to believe it's fake because all the past DLCs, including Naval Strike, have been released on a Tuesday, and I just believe DICE would want to follow the same pattern. Plus, it doesn't match my premium dog tag theory, which when a premium dog tag is released, a DLC will also be released in the same month. You can see on the DLC calendar, it all lines up, so if I'm right, we will be expecting Dragon's Teeth to be released sometime in June. But then if you look at the calendar of June, the 3rd of June is actually a Tuesday, and the 17th is also a Tuesday, which leads me to believe this might be the real release date of Dragon's Teeth. Now, these maps are rumored to kind of feel like the maps from Battlefield 3's Aftermath DLC, where it's more close quarters with less vehicles, and the map names kind of give us a pretty good idea of how they're going to be themed. Now, I have dug out some old images I took off the Battlefield 4 Premium trailer, and I found these two images. They're of maps which we have never seen before in the game, and I strongly believe they are Dragon's Teeth DLC maps. This image which we're looking at right now, I believe, is the map Propaganda. You can see it kind of looks like it takes place in a pretty war-torn city. Maybe I have to guess it's some sort of Russian city. Then in the next image I pulled out is of a road with a bunch of plants, and this would probably be Urban Garden because of all the plants, obviously. So with the two images, I actually do believe these map names could be real, but I'm not 100%. I believe these names for the Dragon's Teeth DLC are probably map concepts and probably are not going to be the final names. I just know that DICE just loves making their map names with weird words which are hard to pronounce, and these aren't that hard in my opinion, so it's probably not final. Next, moving on to the Final Stand DLC, which is the last DLC we will be seeing released in the lifecycle of Battlefield 4. And Battlefield 4 is a much shorter lifecycle compared to Battlefield 3, which almost stretched to 2 years. Now, this has actually led a lot of people to believe we could be seeing another big EA shooter released at the end of 2014, but more on that in another video. So getting straight into the map names, which are proposed names and not final. So these are probably going to change and can be completely different at launch. The 4 names are Arctic Research, Subbase, Walker Factory, and Titan. So the DLC is supposed to come out on September the 2nd for premium members and public release on September the 16th. Again, the dates of the DLC doesn't really match up with the whole Tuesday idea, but who knows, maybe DICE wants to change it up with this DLC. Now, the information we already have about Final Stand at the moment is very limited. The description of the Battlefield website just says the war is reaching its epic conclusion in Battlefield 4 Final Stand, and that isn't much to go on, but rumors are that the DLC will include some kind of nuclear warfare, which I think it's a great idea for DICE to make because it could make some very cool map designs. Now, some of these names do sound pretty interesting. With Arctic Research, I think it might be the only large-scale snow map to be introduced to Battlefield 4 because Operation Locker doesn't really count. It would be pretty cool to see another snow map in Battlefield 4 because those are one of my favorite maps in Battlefield 3 was Alborz Mountain, and I would love to see another snow map, and I would love to see the graphics in Battlefield 4 with the snow, all the particles, and as you guys probably know, Battlefield 4 does look pretty nice. The other name in this list which really stood out to me is Titan. This of course might be mentioning the USS Titan from single player and not Titanfall Titan. It would be pretty cool to see a large scale close quarters aircraft carrier map. We would be running through multiple levels of the aircraft carrier, creating extremely close range engagements, but hopefully it won't be ruined by explosives as all the other close quarters map does. Subbase also sounds pretty interesting. You probably would expect a lot of parked submarines and large naval ships. Maybe you can fight inside them too. I just feel like these names could really bring some great ideas to the DLC, and I believe this DLC will revolve around a military style theme. But hopefully we can get more information soon because so far we got nothing to go on. So finally, let's answer the question of, do I think these map names and the dates are real? So I actually don't think these are the exact map names, but I do think they are real as map ideas, and I do think those dates are fake. Now here's why. Firstly, the names of the Dragon's Teeth DLC kinda seems too simple and not hard enough to pronounce, plus it's too broad. With Battlefield maps, you always expect to see map names with words which you don't ordinarily see every day, but I do like the idea of the names and they do sound very urban based, which we know what this DLC will be focused on. Lastly, I forgot to mention this before, but the Naval Strike DLC now has finally been released for the Xbox One also. Before there was a delay and DICE said that it should be released in sometime in early April, but apparently those delays were quickly fixed and it is now released on the Xbox One. Anyways, that about wraps up all the DLC information that I have. Remember, take all this information in with a grain of salt as they could turn out to be fake, but at the moment I really don't know. As usual, I will keep you guys up to date with any DLC information and just information for Battlefield 4. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Peace out guys.